Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Bonjour, hi, welcome, welcome. So, like the next session is about building Agentic Research Assistant. So we'll be having fun showing the how to build an app smarter than just like a regular text-generated app. I have plenty of stuff. So in the chat, Nishan is with me. He's also work at the Reka. In fact, he's way smarter than me. He's part of the tech team at Reka, so like part of the engineer, really doing the work, training the model and things like that. So if you have any questions as I'm going, don't be afraid to drop it in the chat, and Nishan can help. I will have a period at the end where I answer questions or like maybe review important topics that Nishan thought it would be interesting to review. But don't wait for the Q&A at the end. Post it in the chat and Nishan will help you there. So I want to start with like a quick demo just to show you what we'll be working on today. After that, I have a few slides. Obviously, I need to do the due diligence. So we'll be talking about Reka and like what it is, the API and stuff like that. And then we'll go really in the code and look how we do the things. And don't be afraid. Don't try to like clip the URLs. I will share all the links, the docs, the code, everything at the end. I have URLs, everything is saved. So without further ado, let's have a look to our demo. So we'll do this and then we'll switch to my restaurant. I can do bigger, voila. So nothing crazy fancy, if I would say. It's just like a restaurant finder. Very simple website. The goal was to focus on the tech, not on like what it can do. So it's to give you ideas and how to do that. So here we have a site. I already did the research because as you can see, it can take a little while to run a query. So to save time, I know I can make 3 minutes of talking, but I was, let's try to move forward quickly. So I will do the research ahead. So did search a restaurant in my area. In fact, in my area, in Montreal area, because in my area, there's not a lot of restaurant. And as you can see, nowhere I ask about the location. So the app find that, pass it to the API, and like return formatted information. So it did found the top 3 restaurant, provide the names, the addresses, the phone number, the website, a score, and the price level expressed in number of dollar signs. So $1, $2, $3 sign. So that's pretty good. It's useful because there's a format. And also what I really like is I have the reasoning. So particularity, I will go into detail later of Reka's API is like it provide all the details about how did it end up with that specific result. So you could go see the assistant. Let me just zoom here. Hold on. Okay. So like, you will see like, okay, assistant, it did a call. So, okay, best ramen restaurant in Montreal in 2025. That's good. So, it's not like in the 80s or whatever. And then we could see like, okay, it did call it tool. So we could expand, look at the tool. It was a web search. So we'll see like it did navigate and go through all those websites, find information, then assistants, try to cross-reference and continue and like do this. So the app is kind of like having an assistant doing web research for us. That's what the goal is. So yes, in this specific example is just finding a restaurant, but you could imagine things that it could do for you, because even doing this type of research will take a lot of time. Even if my wife pretend that she can do it in 2 minutes, I'm sure she can't. And like going through all those websites and reading it and finding all the information, kind of copy paste it somewhere else, it will obviously take hours. So it's very useful to do that. And we'll see how we build it in a few minutes. But before we do, I told you I need to talk a little bit more about Reka. So let's go back to the slides and we can continue. So Reka, who we are. So we are a model trainer with a focus on multi-model efficiency. So very trying to make the multi-model and very focusing on efficiency. And because we like open source, sometimes we do open different models or like share a lot in open source. Recently, we publish an open source benchmark for deep research and things like that. So like we do collaborate a lot in open source too. There's different APIs. Today, the focus will be on research, so the blue one. I will mention Vision because I think it's super cool, but we didn't have half a day. We only had 40 minutes. So I'm not demoing anything Vision, but it is very cool. And I will show you a place where you can play with that if you want to. We have an app that is available, a website that you could go there and have some fun with it. So it's already there to play with, and an API is coming up soon or was released soon. Like no, Vision API is released. Yeah, so you could definitely have a look there. So Reka Research. So today I will be showing how to use it searching online web, but it could also search into private document. So it could go through, let's say you have like tons of resumes and you're looking to fill the position, and you could go and say, okay, you know what? I'm looking for a candidate with 3 years of Python experience and maybe knowledge about RavenDB database or something like that. So you could go specific and give me the top 3 candidate, and the AI the model will go look in all those documents and return with the top candidate. And again, you will have all the reasoning. So like why Alex was not taken when Sophia was taken, like the reason why and stuff like that. So you will have all the details of that. So I think it's pretty good. The model excel in synthesizing. That's really hard for me, that word to say. So information coming from multiple information and make it like, making currents connection between those. So really good at it. And like we are very performant. I will show you in a few slides dashboard benchmark that we compare our model to others. And you'll see like the performance is really great. The response are great. And also, like, we are OpenAI compatible. So if you are already using an OpenAI API, you could just switch the URL and the model name, and you could right away use Reka API if you want. So that's pretty good. So like, again, just going quickly through the feature, it's very lightweight. So like right now, the way when we work with the, sorry, I have like a little blank. Private file, voila, private file. We work with Google Drive. So right now it's coming soon to the API. And again, transparent, grounded, because you see why there's no fabulation. We see every answer they are coming from the data you are looking for, and you have all the explanation. And it's optimized end to end because we are training it from scratch and building it. So it's really great for that. I kept that diagram because I thought it was really cool. So hopefully you like the diagram like me, because it was a comparison between a traditional search where you have like you ask a questions, find me ramen information, and then it will go search online and obviously find information because there's everything online, right? Find information and then like pick the one that I think it's the best based on that research and return the result. Maybe the page that it was on didn't include the phone number. So you won't have it, but you'll have the best restaurant of ramen compared to like the multi-step search where it will go. And I'm like, here I said web because we'll be talking web, but obviously you could go also private file if you want, but it will be the same thing where it will do the research, get the information, and then ask itself, okay, do I have all the information? Oh no, I'm missing the phone number. So go back again, do other research, maybe other source of information to find the phone number of those restaurants, and then come back and loop like that as many times as it needs. Or limitation. We'll see that we can control that looping later, because obviously sometimes we focus more on the time it takes than the end result, like having all the details, like we need those, I don't care how long it takes. So depending where is the sweet spot, we can adjust that. And then we'll synthesize everything, because now multi-pass, multi-documents, it will synthesize everything and give us the answer with a structured output. And that's extremely important, because as human, when I go in a chat and I ask, hey, give me a 3 best ramen in Montreal or New York or whatever, I will have a blob of text. I understand that. You understand that. And maybe it's like a bullet point, kind of like, so dash, space, probably the name of the restaurant. And after that, maybe it's the score and the address, and it's like best pizza in town or whatever. I say ramen. So best ramen in town, something like that. The second is dash, the name of the restaurant again. This time is a comment. So like the format won't be the same, but I will understand what it means. But in a program, in a system, when you're trying to use that output somewhere, then it's more complicated, because you need to parse it, sort it, and everything. So when the format is spit out in a very specific format, in a schema, following a schema, then it's better. You have all the information, it's respecting the type of that property you're asking for. So then you could use that. And as we saw in the website earlier, displaying in a column, or save it in database for later, or do something without having to parse. So it's much faster, more efficient to do it after. Sometimes there's glitch. I wouldn't lie that when I was building that demo, the score, sometimes it was a double, sometimes it was an integer, and I had to, tweak it a little bit. It was a demo, so I think I end up putting a string just because to keep it simple, but it's much easier that way. So like the flow, if we remove all those diagram and arrows and stuff, so like you ask a question, there's a lot happening, it will be looping, searching, and that's when we can change the setting, the properties, and fine tune that research to get a better response with all the explanation. So we'll be working in that square today. So here I was saying that the comparing to the benchmark. So simple QA, a popular benchmark that we can look at different model. And recently, Reka built his own benchmark and put it all out there, open source, so you could use it also to compare it. And we did score very well. So pretty proud. That's why I put that slide there. Visions is another API. Like I said, I won't be talking about, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit, mention it, sorry, because I think it's super cool. So what you could do with Vision is like Vision will look through tons of hours and hours and hours of like, let's say, for example, security footage. And you could say, hey, when the FedEx truck pass, and then it will go extract the exact timestamp and like part of the video where that comes from. Or maybe you want to know, like in a, you could do any kind of research. It could also look at in real time feed to for accident or aggression, detecting patterns that happen. So it's very useful to sort work on recording files, so a bunch of video files, or a feed in real time. So really good for that. And if you want to know, I put the URL here. If you want to play with it, I will share again that link later at the end, but at app.reka.ai/vision, that's where you have all the information with Vision. So now it's time for me to take a sip of water. I just finished a cold and my throat is still not being nice with me. Okay, so let's go back to the demo and we'll be digging into the code. No, let's go to the code. Let's go maximize that and we'll stop it. And we'll just change branch. Cool. So this demo, I did it. Currently, the version we'll be playing with today is in .NET. We have the same simple in TypeScript, if you prefer. We don't have this version in Python, though we have other demo in Python. But we try to do different demo in different languages. And today I thought it would be fun to use C#, though I did not use any SDKs, so it will be kind of like pure HTTP call. So I thought that was good because in all languages, a HTTP call they look the same in all different languages. So I thought it would be interesting for that. So if we look at the code quickly, so it's a Blazor website. So Blazor is just the way we write the thing. So it's a mix of HTML and C# code. So this part is that little form that we fill, and then like I'm showing, this is my grid where I plug a list of restaurant, and then for each property, the name, the address, the phone number, the website, the score, the price, like I share that information. And after that, I have another kind of in a different tab. I'm doing the same with the reasoning step. It's a little bit more complex because of like all the possibilities possible. Like, this different step, and sometimes it's a tool, sometimes it's an assistant and stuff like that. But same kind of thing. But today we'll be focusing on like the calling because this is just web thing. So like I said, Blazor, it's part of like C# code. And after that, you have HTML code and C# code. So now if we go in I can make that bigger also. Maybe it will be better this way. That's a little bit big. I cannot see a line. Okay. So yeah. So when we click on that search without any surprise, it will be calling search. And what it does, it lock the button, it start stopwatch, because I was curious at some point to see like this is kind of like a tool, like it's a playground, right? Where we experiment different things. So I did put more than expected, or like what would be like a professional app, if I would say, just because, if you're trying to fine tune, sometimes it's nice to see like the call or see the saving the output. So I have like a little bit extra in there. So that's why I have the stopwatch thing here. And after that, this is where we call the service. Okay, get restaurant reference. And I'm cheating right now because in my area, on my little island, there's not a lot of restaurant. And doing so, like when I was trying to prepare for this session, I was like, well, there's not, except if I'm looking for pizza or like burger, and I'm expecting to have McDonald's, I won't have a great result. So that's why I say, oh, you know what? Like I will hard code Montreal here, but this app is just like trying to get running some JavaScript, extract the location, not the location, but the longitude coordinates of the browser from the browser, and then find a city close to that. And that's the city I sent. So it's working. I have the files there. We can try it later if you want, but just to prove that it's really working. But like I said, it was disappointing to see the result that I was having. So that's why I'm hard coding Montreal here. So let's go in this service. And again, as you saw earlier, doing a research can take 3 minutes. So I could have like make a change and then talk for 3 minutes while it's doing this. Sometimes it's shorter though, because we'll be optimizing, but sometimes it could take a long time. So what I did is I cache all those answers, and I'm running it locally. So it will be much faster for us just to kind of like play around. But obviously, we could just run it directly through the API, just like as I'm presenting, and we are tight in time. I thought it would be more pleasant to use that. So, and after that, we have our query, and we're preparing our buddy. So here we have our model. It's a classic API call, right? Open API call. I said it earlier. So we are following, we have the same format than an Open API OpenAI query. So like it's the same thing. So you have your query, you specify your model, you specify your role, your user, and stuff like that. And after that, I comment everything, because the last thing you want to see, it's me doing typos. Because when I present, there's always a little bit of stress, and my fingers have their own main goals and make me look full. So that's why I comment instead of like writing. So that's what it do. So like we finish that. After that, sorry, I scroll way too fast here. After that, we're passing our API key. By the way, API key, we have a free tier, so you could have one today if you want. I want to show you before, like, I wrap up this session. I want to show you where you can get your free API key, so you could try it and have fun, or experiment in a different app. Maybe your app you're already having is using an OpenAI API, so you could get your key and change it. You just have to use your key here and change the model, and you have it. So there is it. There it is. So just like that, you send your request and you get your answer. And after that, I'm just extracting it, putting it, deserializing it to have it in like strong type, because C# is strong type. That was not necessary. I could have do like child and go with like the classic JSON query thing. But since I was in C#, I thought it would be great to have classes. If you are looking into the code, all the classes are in domain. So they are all there. All those classes are there. Well, the thing I want to show was, so here, that's the geolocation JSON that we were having. So that's the name of the city I'm in. And I was very disappointed when I try it. So that's why I hard coded. The response sample, that's the full JSON that we get. That's where all those classes come from. So you get your status. Did you stop it? Did it fail? Whatever. And then like in the message, you have your content. So that's the JSON that interests us, the list of restaurant. And then after that, you have all the reasoning step. So you have all that information. So it's a big, obviously, response with a lot of information in there. If you don't want the reasoning, there's a way also to cut it. There's like it's customizable, obviously, if you want to do it. But when you want to learn and you're doing multi-step, it's very important to understand what's happening. So, and that's why today we are keeping it to show it. Okay. So that's the thing. That's the thing. Did I show everything? Can we start coding? I think I did show everything. Cool. So the first thing we want to do, because we are using the output of our API into a model, I think the best thing to do will be to add the format. So we can do this with the parameter here, response format, right? So this is very easy. And if we go that function, it's at the bottom of my page, it's here. So get format, you just create a JSON format. So depending on the language you're using, you could be just like, if you're already in JavaScript, you could just go and put your schema there. If you're in Python, I saw there was, I forgot the name of the class. There's tools that help you extracting an object, the class, and then spit it out in a JSON document. In .NET, you could just like use something like that. So here I'm just saying like, hey, I want a list of restaurant. It's a list of object, restaurant, like it's an array. And I want those properties. And I'm specifying here, as you can see, like price level. I want that to be expressed in $1 sign, $2 sign, whoops, and $3 sign. That's what I'm expecting. I could have, say, heart. The score here could have been, I could have specified, hey, I want minimal value to be between 1 and 5 or 1 and 100. It could be thumbs up, depending on like what you want. So you specify it in your JSON, and that's the model will do its best to fill it up. Maybe phone number. My daughter says nobody's calling anyone anyway these days. So maybe the phone number is not used. Maybe it's not displayed on the restaurant, the whole restaurant. Maybe it will return blank because it didn't found the information. So going back again up. So that's in our payload right now. So we did now had a response. So we could try to run that. So we'll run it. So now we are in Montreal, and we're just expecting a specific format. Without any format, I couldn't bind it to my grid because the grid is expecting a very specific format. So now I could just go, let's say, search for pizza. Voila. So I have 3 pizza, found all the information. See the score. It's not present. It's possible, but it didn't create anything. It didn't have it, didn't find enough information. So it just put nothing. Didn't have the information, but because it's an integer, when I did that, there was an integer. After now, if we look in the schema, it's a string, but when I did that, it's an integer. So that's why it's 0. There's no null. And then the price. And if we look in the reasoning, we have all the reasoning. So search for pizza near Montreal, true restaurant, matching the user requests. Oh, one thing I didn't say is it's looking for Montreal because we hard-coded the value. But if we go back into the code this way, if we go back to the code, let's stop it. Oh, sorry, under the floating zoom bar. One thing I didn't show was our query here is, okay, you are a restaurant recommender. The user asks for food in the specific mood. So we look for pizza. That's not a mood, but I guess it could be a mood. And provide the 3 restaurant matching this mood in near city. So right now, I'm injecting the location in my query because we'll change that later. So right now, that's what it is. I could also not have include that and let the user search at the top, but then like every time is like, hey, do that near me. You know, so like, I think by default, we're expecting to say, hey, I'm looking for a pizza near where I am, not where I will be, but like that could be cool. So this, now we have a format. So that was great. Another thing that we can do is sometimes it could be very, very long when you do research. Like I said, it will search again. We saw that it didn't have all the information for the number, so we could specify the maximum of views. We could go 2, 3. I think by default it's 10. So like when you don't specify anything, it could take a lot of time because the model will really try hard and make up to 10 web search and the different tools. Like when you're looking at the list of the tool, it will do that multiple times. Okay. One thing also we could do, looking at the time, I see the time is flying. So let's say we also add location. So what you could do is pass the user location and then pass the city. And there's more you could do. You could pass there's the city, the time zone, there's the area and the country, I think. So there's multiple component, but in our case, if I say look for a restaurant in Canada, I'm not sure I will get in time to my table if it's on the West Coast compared to Montreal, assuming I'm in Montreal. And now what I will do is I will change and use this new prompt where I say, okay, the first part stay the same. So you are a restaurant recommender. Use the user ask for the food in this specific mood. Provide fine. Let's go. Provide 3 restaurants that match this food. Always response in adjacent that match the provided schema. But I'm not specifying anymore where, because that's passed, in the user location, right? So if we try to execute this, so now if we go here and let's go with sushi this time, trying to put some variety here in the menu. So if I search, so now we have different sushi restaurant, and like we have the score. Do we have the price? So different price coming up in the reasoning. We'll see like it should have maximum. If we expand the tooling, we should have a maximum of 3 web search, because that was also part of my parameter that I passed. Right? So 1 was there. So this is a tool, but it's an analyze. So we're still up to 1 and going there. It's again another analyze, going tool. Oh, that's a web search. So we are up to 2 now. And as the last one is, and 3. So we have our 3 web search. So you could limit this. It's great because when time is important, you want to limit the number of web search. But if you don't care about the time, maybe it's a long running task or something like that. You say, you know what, like take your time, find everything. Then you could, turn it to the maximum. So that's cool. So we have this, we have the result. I said we didn't pass the location though. They are still all in Montreal. Oh, no provided source. Interesting. I didn't see that before. So look like, didn't find a lot of information on that restaurant. Interesting. No, it's good, but no phone number, no website, no. That's weird. Anyway, then if I was in real life, I would probably jump into reasoning, trying to understand like what's happening. Why did he keep it? Why it kept it in the list if like there's no information. But we are in a demo, so we'll just say interesting. Okay, let's go back to the code because we're not done yet. I'll stop that again. So that's great. Say we are running online, doing some research. So maybe you think that some websites are more important than other. Maybe let's say you're building an MCP server using that information. You could go and specify specific domain. So like the API calls will only do the research on that specific domain. In our case, a specific domain will be, let's say, TripAdvisor. So doing so, if I'm running this, it limits. So only the web search will only happen on TripAdvisor. I could put more if I want. So it's an array of strings. So I could put all the websites I want. So let's run that. If I look for, let's say, burger, So if we go, so again, found 3 burgers, we have all the information. Are they in Montreal? They are all in Montreal. And now if we go in the tooling, we should see a lot of TripAdvisor, TripAdvisor, TripAdvisor. So it'll be only TripAdvisors, right? Because I only allow research on that web search. So that's great because now, yes, you go online, you specify the amount of like time spent researching, you limit you format your answer so it could be usable in your application, and you pass the location so like your user doesn't have to do it, right? So now kind of like work perfectly. You could do that. Another thing, and like I can show it too, though, like you will have to take my word for it, is sometimes we don't, like, it's fine. Let's say I'm looking for hockey score or something like that, or I'm looking for some information, and you want the best restaurant, or like you whatever. Say search online, go everywhere, but maybe you don't want to specify here. I just put Uber Heat because that was one of the results coming, so I kind of like filter it out. But you can say, you know what? I'm looking for the best news about AI, but you know what? I don't want to see any Reddit page because people there sometimes rant, and even if like the information could be interesting, funny, or whatever, I don't want to use that in my research. So you could like block some domain and they are exclusive. So if you block a domain, it means it's everything except those block domain. And if you allow a domains or a list of domain, it's only on those. So it makes no sense to have two. Don't ask I know why. Trust me. I totally tried both at the same time. I was like, yeah, you know what? It makes no sense. But I was curious. And let's again look for burgers. And we'll see that. I'm not sure, like I forgot if the list is different. I forgot to check the name, but it should be different website tooling. If I go TripAdvisor, oh, that's, yeah, okay. So yeah, TripAdvisor. I thought I had like that's the same result. That's the same result. I should do a search. I should go live and search without say, you know, everything except TripAdvisor, and it will take a few minutes, but you'll have, you know, you'll have to trust me. Or one thing you could do, seeing the time flash, I want to show you because promise I will do. Is did I before I jump? I think I did show you everything, right? If I go back to the code, let's close all those restaurants running. I have a lot of instance of my restaurant running. If I go back to the code and I stop it and I look at the code, did I uncomment everything? Yes, I did. So I'm using the location. We are playing. We didn't play this because honestly, that's when you feel it when you're doing real query in a real world. We say, okay, like what happened if I put it to 10? What happened when I put it to 1? The difference in terms of quality of information and the time it took. I want to show you how you could try it by yourself using the app, or the code will be available so you could run it also in TypeScript or in C#. Location, we passed it. So yeah, I passed everything there. Or one thing, if you want to play locally, I kept the save to file so you could see the response after the fact and look into the details of the information if you want to learn more. I did put that for you. So let's say I'm done with this part. I want to show you the app where you could play. So I say app, it's a website. So it's app.reka.ai. And here you have like all the APIs available. So you have vision, you have research. So research, that's what we were playing with. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And if you want to play with those parameters, not in code, but just like with the very graphical interface, you could do that. So you could do a multi-step web search. You could do also a private document search. So if you want to play, we did have some samples, so you could totally use that to search for different resume and stuff like that. So let's say you want some resume. So now you have plenty of resume. So you could go and look for people here and you will see all the output. Or we could go search online and we could totally add source. No, that's not what I want. I want this here. So I want to do a web search. I want to specify domain. So I could specify specific domain I don't want. So I could say TripAdvisor. I don't want to do any typo. Show me the code. Let's go here. Do I have it? Close by. Voila. HTTPS. I don't want it to allow. No allow. So I could save. Oh, do I have location here? So here I have the search depth. So I could go. So by default, I think it's 10. I could be wrong, but you could change it and say, you know what, like I want just one. Find 3 ramen restaurant in English. Restaurant. Told you I was the king of typos, right? In Montreal with only one E usually. Voila. So now I could run this. And just like before, it will do the search. Behind the scene, this was happening. In our app, what we do is we show, oh, why did it? Oh, maybe it found, but it won't search for it. It's not supposed to be using TripAdvisor. We see like different URL here, and I could go search, like have a look at everything he did. Look at. So it's analyzing, and it will find a restaurant. You could play with that. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna make sure I have time for a question. So let's run it. It can take a few minutes anyway. So we'll let it search and we'll finish the session. So let's just finish this. So what's next? What's next? That's a question I have for you, because now that you know that you could search online or in private file, what would you do with it? Like what feature is missing? Imagine searching in tons of files, like I said, like in resume CVs for finding your next candidate, filtering a little bit, helping you finding the good candidate, because like when you have like 1,000 CVs, it's really hard to read everything. So you could use that to help you sort and pick up like a subset of a good candidate. Maybe you want to sort different website with different document. So you could do that. So here, all the reference. So the first link is app.reka.ai. That was just the website where we're currently doing a search for the ramen. You could do that. Vision API is there too. There's the chat there too, so you could use that. The second link is GitHub, where you will see, let's say later today or tomorrow, the link exists. They're simple, but the code I show you is not yet there. I just want to add some documentation, so if someone miss this session, it can still be able to know what to do to execute it. But the code will be there. And if you go at GitHub Reka AI and you look for API simple, there's TypeScript also available and Python that is available. And if you want to learn everything, you can learn about the APIs, go to the docs, so docs.reka.ai. And with that, I want to say a big thank you before I start answering question and we look at the ramen result. Big thank you. I'm F. Boucheros on most social, so you can find me there. Usually DMs are open, so you can ping me and ask questions. And if you are interested to learn more about Reka, you could go at reka.ai. And with that, I can stop this, look if we found the result, if we have a result. while we check for the, yeah, so we look like we have a result. So Tree Ramen Restaurant in Montreal, the source didn't use, it didn't use, so it kept, sorry, I'm looking for my words here. I'm out of breath. It did respect that we didn't want to use TripAdvisor. Voila, that's the word I was looking for. So like, it had plenty of code, like of suggestion to look at, but it didn't use TripAdvisor, just like we asked it. So very powerful tool. So did Nishan answer all the questions, or still have some?
Frank, I noticed that a few people have been asking for links and resources. I was wondering if
Yes,
you could.
let me bring that back to the. So those are the link. So like I said, the first link here, the app.reka.api, that's the link of the app where you could try. One thing I didn't show how you could, well, like if you go there, the first thing you could sign in, and if you sign in, you will be able to have your API key. Or if you go to docs.reka.ai, the last link here, you also have a link from there to get your API key. And like I said, it's free. You could use it right away. And the code will be available.
If you don't mind, maybe you can copy and paste this in the chat
Yeah.
window, so that way.
So I don't, where is the
chat window? Maybe I can ask my team to actually put it.
I can paste it, and because right now I only see the internal chat. I put it there.
Oh, I see. Maybe if you can put it there, I mean, we'll grab it from there.
I put it there. I just did it now.
Okay, I got it.
I close many windows when I start because
yeah.
I don't want to be.
And then I have posted it for everyone. Okay.
Oh yeah, should have picked. Sorry, should have picked everyone.
Yeah. So I mean, Zoom is not the best user experience. I think most of us would agree on that. So let's wait if we have any other questions. Otherwise, okay.
Can stop sharing.
Okay. Thank you so much, Frank and Nishan. It was great having you.
It was a pleasure. It was fun.
Likewise. Okay. Thank you.